The one thing that might be slightly unusual that we really pushed for is non-stop coffee on set.
I don't think you should share that. Otherwise, other
Sorry,
productions
Netflix.
will cut.
So sorry.
Action.
Lenkov put together the attack on the carrier, but the Kremlin did not hire him. I think the Prime Minister did.
Season 2 continues the exploration and trying to figure out the explosion on the British ship, HMS Courageous, and kind of who was involved, realizing that some of our own, governments close were involved in their own demise, and everything sort of unraveling from there.
Season 2 picks up where season 1 left off, and it sort of reveals that the trouble is just beginning.
When I tell the rest of the world that Nicol ordered a strike on his own aircraft carrier, the press will dig in and they'll find the evidence.
The first season ended with Kate and Dennison discovering that the person who was most motivated to assassinate this Lenkov character, our Russian mercenary leader, is the British Prime Minister. Much of season 2 is trying to figure out how do you solve a mystery when you're trying to investigate your host country.
So our theme, I guess, for season 2 is the call is coming from inside the house.
I think what's interesting about season 2 is that it's more of a gradual build to a very large crescendo in the last few episodes where everything really gets turned upside down.
What it involves for Kate is, adjacent to the first season, trouble with the husband, which is amazing. But then we have the introduction also of Alison Janney, who's incredible, playing our vice president. Every single plot point gets turned up when she arrives. And the Royland of it all, and all of the players in Trowbridge, it becomes this real chess match.
Today we're filming the season finale.
We have all our sort of key characters today. We have Kate the Diplomat, we have her DCM, Stuart, and we have the Vice President with us. So she's surrounded by Secret Service, and there's going to be a lot of running on grass. We can't say why.
Hal Weiler told me the only rational thing to do is write a cable to the 7th floor so we could kill someone's career and make way for me and you.
One of the best things about the show is Debora Cahn's writing. It's excellent, it's funny, it's exciting, it's always surprising. The worry is that you read this amazing pilot, first episode, and you wonder if it can sustain itself. And I have to say, she ended it really well.
Your boss might move to another country, or not. So you might move to another country, or not. This message has no content.
When are you gonna stop punishing me?
That is not what I'm doing.
You run away from every conversation we have. As a person who's in the show, I'm also a fan. I read the scripts over and over and over again, like reading your favorite book over and over again. You can get more bits out of it every time you read it.
When you're on a show where the writing is this good and everyone is bringing their A game, that's just a joy and a pleasure, and it's exciting to all care about something and be elevated by each other.
It's an unusually overqualified cast, right down the line. People who come in to do one day's scene are usually cast so well and so talented and capable that if the story was to take a direction they were to end up carrying an episode or 3, they would be more than up to the job, and that's true across the line. I feel very grateful to be here. I love working with Keri. Debora is a fantastic showrunner.
Every day I walk onto the set knowing I have to raise my game and be the best version of myself because I'm working with people who certainly are.
When Rory Kinnear is filming a scene, I feel like I bought a theater ticket and I just get to watch this great performance over and over. Every take is completely different. Sometimes we ask him to go again just because we're enjoying watching it. We don't actually need it.
This group is so fun. There's a lot of joking around, and usually I'm tired by the end of the day, not from the work, but because I was playing too much with my castmates.
It's a lot of dancing and goofing around before we call action. So imagine, we're like, go, 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 okay, action. Okay, so let's talk about Iran for a second, blah, 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 cut. Okay, da, 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 da. That's a day on the set of The Diplomat. It's lovely.
Action. I think for season 2 we were trying to do the Diplomat 2.0. Every element, try to elevate it. We were all really excited after season 1 and wanted to keep going and make it even better.
For me, watching the first series, what I found so impressive was that they were able to get into these places that are very hard to film in, and we've tried to build on that by pushing our luck a little bit more with some other government locations and country houses that otherwise most shows can't get into.
The challenges of season 2 were that the show grew in scope and also in drama. We had a very large sequence that took place in St. Paul's Cathedral in London.
That was a huge challenge for me because it's a huge place. It's a special place, a beautiful place, but it comes with lots and lots of cavernous, shadowy spaces, and we had to make it feel the way we wanted it to be, and took a lot of equipment and people, and that was really, really fun.
It was large enough that we needed more time to film there than any production's ever taken to shoot there. They were nice enough to grant us that time.
Just to walk into somewhere like St. Paul's and know that you've kind of managed to grab that location and put 500 extras in it is a great feeling, because you think, well, not many people have been able to do that.
Why did you never ask me?
Because I trusted you.
I don't trust you. I don't.
There's always that odd contrast between realism and fiction. This verges more towards realism a lot of the time. Although it's totally fictionalized, that people like Kate exist and people like the Vice President obviously exist, so you kind of have a benchmark to a degree.
Diplomats don't get a lot of airtime on TV, so they are happy to help in a project that kind of sheds some light on what they do, and they're also happy to help us try and get it right, which is what we're trying to do most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. For the first season, me and the writers interviewed, I'm going to say 60 experts, ambassadors, foreign policy experts, British, American, all over the world. We were able to base most of what we did on their stories. And some of the most fantastical stuff in the show that seems the most fictitious is actually completely real. And in the beginning, it's a little bit hard to get people to trust you because you just say, oh, I'm writing a TV show. And people, I think, rightly are very skeptical of that. But now that the series is out, it's a little bit easier to get people in to have a conversation because we're more of a known quantity.
And we do hear from diplomats about the things we got wrong or the things that they are extremely delighted that we got right, that seem like tiny details.
Mm-hmm.
So we do sort of get feedback as we go along.
I did interview and talk to women that had worked in the CIA, and so I read a bunch of books about former CIA operatives, and honestly, a lot of it was about the sacrifice and the kind of how much it takes over your life, and the commitment that it's really an act of, it's a service job.
The art of diplomacy is the art of like getting to know somebody and figuring out what they love and why they function, and also learning that there's a lot of mistakes that you have to make before you get to something that's a success. And if you do not have patience, you're never going to make it in this business. It is a lot of people who really care a lot about peace, a lot about people, a lot about their countries, and they're all in the same room trying to make everything work. And I think that's the thing that I'm starting to really appreciate doing this show and meeting the people who actually work in the Foreign Service.
I was talking to the real ambassador. We were having dinner the other night, and she was saying how much she's loved working here and how she's been posted other places that don't feel as international, but that London specifically has been so international, and that's what she's loved, meeting all the people, and I would agree.
The talent pool here is unbelievable. So we have what sometimes is a problem because for a very small role, we get some incredible, experienced, talented actor who then we're so in love with that we have to kind of generate a B story for them in every episode because we don't ever want to see them go. So I guess in the world of problems, it's the one I would choose.
As an American filming on location in London, it's a thrill. I mean, London is an amazing city. It's filled with history and culture that is just wonderful and a privilege to be around. But the British crews are fantastic, and we have a wonderful crew on the show who've really become familial and close, and we finish each other's sentences now and talk and have so much fun shooting, and we all have the same kind of love of movies and what have you that brought us to this point. We're all working together, and I just couldn't love our crew more.
I moved for various reasons to America many years ago, probably about 15 years ago, and it was surprising for me and kind of typical and funny, the fact that from that moment I started to suddenly get employed in England regularly. Once I'd just moved almost up to Los Angeles. And this to me was like the ultimate joke, to finally get a job where I'm pretending to be American in London for 6 or 7 months a year.
We have come to the UK. We are filming the way that the UK are used to filming. I perhaps think the one thing that might be slightly unusual that we really pushed for is craft service. So we have non-stop coffee on set.
I don't think you should share that. Otherwise, other
Sorry,
productions
Netflix.
will cut.
So sorry.